Hi. Have you ever watched your child work twice as hard as everyone else and still fall behind in reading? You see the effort, you see the frustration, and you keep wondering, am I overreacting or is something really going on? If that question has crossed your mind, this video is for you. Today, we're going to talk about the questions parents ask when reading doesn't come easily and why those early worries often matter more than you think. So, I'm Heidi. I'm a licensed reading specialist and a Wilson dyslexia practitioner. And I've worked with students with dyslexia and spelling challenges for over 20 years. But besides being a specialist, I'm also the parent of a struggling reader. And I was there once too, where I was saying, I just feel like something isn't lining up. So, if that's you, I want you to know that feeling is worth paying attention to. So in this video, we're going to talk about the most common questions parents ask in the early stages, what those questions often reveal, and what you can do next, even before testing. Let's start with the question almost every parent asks first. Am I making too much of this? This is usually the first thought. You notice homework takes forever. Reading is slow. Progress doesn't match the effort. And then you second guess yourself. Maybe they just need more time. Maybe you're being impatient. Maybe you're comparing too much. Here's what I want you to hear clearly. Parents are usually the first to notice when effort and outcome don't match. Research consistently shows that families recognize patterns long before formal testing happens. You're not diagnosing, you're observing, and your observation is powerful. So, my action step for you would be to write down what you notice. Patterns over time matter much more than isolated bad days. The second thing, everyone says, give it time, but you think it doesn't feel right. You may have heard they'll catch up, boys mature later. Second grade is hard for everyone. Sometimes that advice is appropriate, but here's the difference. Children who are simply developing later usually show steady improvement when things click. Children with underlying reading difficulties often work harder without reading becoming easier. So if reading remains slow, fragile, or exhausting, even with practice, that's meaningful. Waiting rarely fixes persistent reading struggles without targeted instruction. Your instinct that something isn't lining up is often based on repeated observation, and that matters. Okay, the third question that most parents ask, why does my child understand stories but struggle to read? This one confuses a lot of families. Your child can tell you detailed stories. They understand complex ideas. They ask thoughtful questions, but when they read independently, they stall. Now, that gap is important. Understanding spoken language and decoding printed words are two different skills. A child can have strong comprehension, especially listening comprehension, and still struggle with decoding. When you see that mismatch, it's not laziness and it's not a lack of intelligence, it's information. And information helps us decide what kind of support is needed. Okay, now the fourth question. Many parents ask, why is my child guessing at words? If you've seen your child look at the first letter and guess the rest, you're not alone. Guessing often happens when decoding feels overwhelming. Now, if letter sounds are automatic, if blending sounds feel slow and confusing, guessing can feel faster than sounding it out. It's a coping strategy. But over time, guessing prevents reading from becoming accurate and automatic. When you see guessing instead of decoding, it's often a sign that foundational skills need strengthening. And the good news? Foundational skills can be taught clearly and directly. Okay, here's the fifth question. Parents ask, do I need a diagnosis before I can get help? Well, this is a really important one. I'll give you a simple answer. No. You do not need to wait for a formal diagnosis to start helping your child. Early support is always better than delayed support. A reading screener can provide some insight into letter sound knowledge, phonological awareness, early decoding patterns. It doesn't diagnose dyslexia, but it can tell us whether your child is at risk and what skills need attention right now. A full psychoeducational evaluation can be helpful later for accommodations, but help does not have to wait. So I've worked with many families who say the same thing. I wish we had trusted our instincts sooner, not because they ignored concerns, but because they were told to wait. Now, once we look at the data, the pattern becomes clear. And once instruction matched the need, reading began to make sense. Not overnight, but steadily. And that shift changed everything, not just academically, but emotionally. And the confidence returned. So if this sounds like your child, if you've been asking yourself these questions quietly, I want you to know you don't have to figure this out alone. I offer free consultations where we simply talk through what you're seeing. No pressure, no labels, just clarity. Sometimes that conversation is the first real step towards peace of mind. You can book a free consultation using the link below. And I just want to reassure you, trusting your instincts doesn't mean assuming the worst. It means you're recognizing patterns. It means you're responding early. And it means giving your child the right kind of support that matches how the brain actually learns. So start small, but don't ignore what you see. Your attention today could change your child's confidence tomorrow. So if this video helped you, subscribe for more guidance on reading and dyslexia. And if you're ready to talk through your concerns, I'd love to connect with you. You don't have to wait and wonder. I'll see you in the next video.